What up, everybody? Raising Kanan, Season 1, Episode 1. We met Kanan's longtime friend, Sean Puerto Rican famous Figueroa, who had been friends with Kanan and Jukebox since he was only 4 years old. Later on in Season 1, when Kanan was about to make his first sale, Famous was supposed to go with him, but decided to go rap with some guys instead. It was at this point when we heard Kanan and Jukebox talking about Famous, saying he wasn't built for the life. And this probably was true. But my question is, how many people that get into the game are actually built for the life? Or does their circumstances force them into it? I'll be the first to admit, I wasn't built for the life, but I got into it anyway. I remember being a young drug dealer, just getting robbed at gunpoint, and an old player who used to buy from me told me, "Look, this might not be in my best interest to tell you this, but I got to anyway. You might not be built for this life." No, I wasn't no punk. I played basketball and football growing up, lifted weights, and been in several fights growing up. But the game brought a whole new energy. And after old school told me that, I remember thinking, you may be right, but I don't really got a choice. But after spending some time in the game, that energy began to shift. And my whole attitude was more like, I wish somebody would try me. And by this time, I was no longer a mark. Enough had happened to transform me into the person I needed to be to survive in the game. So with that said, Raising Kanan Season 2, Famous was kicked out of his mom's house. Then at this point, it didn't matter if Famous was built for the streets or not. Survival mode kicked in, and Famous had to do what he had to do in order to survive. Getting me to the end of Season 2 when Famous went knocking at Kanan and Palomar's door in the middle of the night, asking to borrow Palomar's gun. Now keep in mind what Kanan told Famous. If you get in trouble with it, I'm gonna say you stole it. Also keep in mind Tariq's big mistake on his first kill. Other than holding the gun wrong and leaving his blood behind at the crime scene, it was using Tasha's registered firearm to do the job. And this caused all kinds of problems for Tariq and the St. Patrick's all throughout Power moving forward. So after borrowing the gun, out of all people he could rob, Famous tried robbing a goon named Freddy, who could already tell it was Famous and called him out by name. But when Freddy went to pull out his strap, again, Famous did what he had to do. At this point, it was either kill or be killed, and Famous caught his first body. But now that Famous has caught a body, he is never going to be the same again. So we can definitely expect to see a darker side of Famous in Season 3. But the problem is, the guy across the hall heard everything. But when the cops came to question him, he didn't say anything, but Officer Garcia did leave behind his card. Also keep in mind that this old man has already snitched before. When Kanan was beating down Freddy for stealing his bag with the money and Famous gold-plated chain, the old man saw him and called the cops. This is how Famous was arrested in Season 2. Now keep in mind when Detective Howard got Famous released, he told Kanan, "Your boy's an idiot." But Kanan played it off like that's just Famous. Getting me to the death of Famous, that is already foreshadowed. Keep in mind that Kanan's son was also named Sean, just like Famous. So it's easy to guess that Kanan named his son after his best friend since he was 4 years old. But this also likely means Famous is dead by the time Sean was born. Sean was around the age of a college student in OG Power. This would make him born around 94 or 95. And I do want to apologize to y'all because I made an error in my research for the timeline video I made the other day. We are actually further along in the timeline than I thought. Someone corrected me about the date. Today Was a Good Day by Ice Cube was released. And the Knicks happened to beat the Bullets by 11 in the 92-93 season also. So the correct Raising Kanan timeline is actually March 12th, 1993. So if you add the fact that Sean still needs to be conceived and his mother still needs to carry him for 9 months, we are getting really close to that point in the timeline. So how would Famous get killed if that's how it goes? Like I said, Malcolm Howard has already called Famous an idiot. Then add the fact Famous might be the suspect of a murder. If this puts any heat on Kanan, or if Howard gets word Famous is gonna snitch, I would not be surprised if Howard killed Famous himself. Also keep in mind that it was actually Famous who opened up Kanan's daddy test and was asking him why he needs a daddy test when he already knows DEFCON was his daddy. Then asked Kanan what MH stood for. He said, "Does that mean DEFCON?" We already know that Kanan will grow up lying to everyone because he don't want the streets knowing his dad is a cop and his mom is a snitch. So if Famous actually figures out that Howard is Kanan's father, could we see Kanan kill Famous to protect this secret? Keep in mind what Kanan told Tariq in Power. Some say you're not a real killer until you kill someone you love. And something tells me that his son Sean wasn't the first time Kanan killed someone he loved. What is the chances that history repeated itself and Kanan killed both Famous and his son Sean? The next theory is that Rock kills Famous in some type of way to get to Kanan. Rock already killed one of Kanan's friends, D-Wiz. She also killed Scrappy. What's to say she won't kill Famous next to try to send a message to Kanan? And my wild card for killing Famous is actually Lulu. It was actually Lou who killed D-Wiz on Rock's orders. But if Lou is the one to kill Famous, I don't think it'll be done following Rock's orders this time. Keep in mind how Ziza just got killed right after getting her song on the radio. What is the chances that Ziza blows up in her death? Because it seems when rappers or singers are killed, the label's the one who gets all the profit because the artist either goes from big to bigger or from unknown to known. So if Ziza blows up in her death, would Lou use the same strategy with Famous and have him record an album or a new single, then have him killed so his music blows up? But I just don't think Lou is dark enough to do that. But at the same time, keep in mind who is now 50-50 owner of Bulletproof Records, Raquel Thomas, and I put nothing past her. And there you have it. Do you think Famous will survive season 3? Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.